Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Well, I'm sure most of you have seen by now, a few days ago we had a surprising reveal for the Ultramarines chapter, including a new Marneus Calgar, which I was not expecting. I've had a busy couple of days helping the family out, so this is really my first time being able to sit down at the computer and really check out the reveals properly, see a real full-sized picture. And well, that's exactly what we're going to do now. As always with reveals, everything we need to see is over on the Warhammer community website, so make sure to check them out over there for yourself. Now, I was really surprised to see this new Marneus Calgar update, to be honest, considering he already had his Primaris glow up a few years ago. But obviously, they wanted to get him into his older Terminator armor, now that the new Terminators have arrived as well. And it definitely feels more imposing. More solid. You can clearly see he feels a lot more chunkier. And you can immediately feel how they've used that older pre-Primaris model as inspiration. The one that came with the Honor Guard. And the extra detailing when you look at the pictures here really does pop. He feels like a chapter master should. The iconic symbol on the right power fist, the cloak round the back hanging from the chain, not to mention the new head sculpt, feeling a lot more similar to the old. However, I would say I'd want to see him leading a Terminator squad to see how much he stands out. I know we've got the return of the new Honor Guard further down, which is more associated with Calgar, but I'd just like him to stand out clearly from your average Terminator. And I do think a pose closer to the 2nd edition might have helped him stand out just a little bit more. However, I'm not even sure that's possible with the Terminator armor. You do get vibes of that old school 2nd edition artwork here that I just used to absolutely idolize as a kid. Those dual gauntlets of Ultramar blazing. And you can definitely see the similarity in his face now that I look at it as well, which is a great touch. Could it maybe have used that old school banner too? At least as an option. I know they aren't exactly practical, but I think it maybe would have made the model really pop. But I like it, I do like it. And even though I do love his current model, I do have to admit he does feel a bit more like a chapter master should now. A bit more legendary like Marneus Calgar. And I guess it makes sense for him to be in Terminator armor from a rules standpoint as well. I think this is one of those ones that when you see it in person you're going to love it even more. Now moving on, finally receiving his own glow up is Captain Cato Sicarius, former 2nd Company Captain, and now Captain of the Victrix Guard and Rabute Gilliman's bodyguard. Now, I've never been a huge fan of the poses that don't really feel like they're in battle, especially ones that are carrying their helms, but I have to admit there's something about this one that just about pulls it off. I don't know if it's the arrogance of the character, but it works. I like it. It looks like the Sicarius of old. There's that subtle stepping down forward momentum that just adds the element of movement to the model that it needs. The arm aloft, signalling to the rest of his men, the cloak billowing around him, working with the flutter of the old school banner as well, and a choice of 2 head options. Not one with the helm on, which is unfortunate as I definitely would have preferred that, but you get the stoic, grim-faced one, as opposed with the one shouting the order. I admit I would much rather have Cato back in charge of the 2nd Company, but his model here as the captain of the Victrix Guard is ticking all the right boxes. He definitely feels like a figurehead like he should. I think we could see a fair amount of conversions here with the helm on, which I'm very excited to see. Maybe a bolter in the right hand instead. But I do like it. This is another one that I like. I think the stepping down forward momentum really does help it. If he was just standing there still, a bit like the Uriel Ventress model, I'm not sure I would really be over-infused. But this one just about manages to pull it off. And the detailing with the head sculpt really does work. Even though I'm a Helmon kind of guy, I have to admit the quality of the head sculpts now is pretty much untouchable. Now next, we have the Victrix Honor Guard, and the return of one of the most iconic chapter banners in all of 40k. I'll be honest, now that I've actually been learning how to play the current rules and play the tabletop again, even thinking about playing with that banner on the table gives me a heart attack. I can just easily see that being knocked over and snapped. But man, what an iconic piece of the setting that is. Seeing that in the codexes of old, then getting the old model honor guard of it, and now here, in the updated, awesomely detailed current sculpts. I mean, just look at it. Just look at it. Oh my word, it is gorgeous. I mean, who remembers back in the day when you had the old stickers for your banners? And then even after that, they were all plain, so you had to try and paint them yourself. We've come a long way, my friends, we've come a long way. I think I'd definitely have to sub out the banner bearer's head for one with a helm on, but this model is as iconic Ultramarines as you can get for me. It just screams the chapter. Everything the Ultramarines chapter should be. My star of the reveals, no doubt here. But then we've got the other guys to go along with him. The chapter champion looking fantastic. And I'm loving that unique shoulder pad with the white beneath. The marbled style Ultra. That Macraggian Roman flavour. Props to the painter here absolutely for bringing that to life. And you can definitely feel the Legion flavour of old in the aesthetic with them as well. Feeling far more closer to the days of the Great Crusade and Heresy than the modern day Primaris, which I have to admit I do personally prefer. And then we can see the more generic Victrix Guard. Axes never feel quite right for me with the Ultramarines, so I hope you get some kind of alternate option included. I did quite like the sword and shield option of the ones that come with the current Calgar model, so hopefully we get some kind of power swords in there at least. But again, in continuing the theme, I do like them. I'm appreciating the detailing of them, all the little gold bordering and ornamentation that you can see on their armour. It would be tricky to paint for someone like me still learning their way, but it just sets them apart from the rest of the army. And I'm sure I've said this before at some point, but there's something about the white Ultramarine veteran scheme. I don't know, it just gives me a nostalgic feeling for some reason. I've got 4th company for my personal Ultramarine force, but I definitely want to add some 1st company veterans to go alongside them. Although, minor point here, that gold U on the shoulder just doesn't look right to me. The chapter symbol has to be white. I know they're honor guard, but come on, it's gotta be white, it has to be. It just doesn't look right when it's any other colour. But I like this honor guard a lot. I really do like them. Again, with the banner bearer, my favourite of these reveals here. But all in all, that's it. A great little reveal for the boys in blue. And again, a little surprising for me. Not one I was expecting to see. Especially Marneus Calgar at least. I'd still be very interested to see a group shot of him at the head of an army, or at least at the head of a Terminator squad, just to see how much the model stands out. But I do like him, and I have to admit he does feel more like Marneus Calgar should now. Sicarius' update 2 is nice, and the Honor Guard just takes the cake for me. But as always everyone, what do you think? A huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.